guys, I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Stars Gingham table runner. It's a completely free pattern at Fat Quarter Shop. It looks hard, but it's actually super easy if you take it step by step. So the first step is to go to Fat Quarter Shop and download your pattern. We made this beautiful table runner with the Star Spangled Collection by April Rosenthal and a few matching Bella solids. You basically need a background, 3 reds, 3 blues, binding, and a backing. And when you download your pattern, all your fabric requirements are on page 2. In addition to your fabric, we highly recommend the 1.5 inch finished Triangles on a Roll paper by Triangles on a Roll. That's going to give you nice, precise points here. And I'm going to show you how to use this triangle paper in this video. If you don't want to use the triangle paper, we do have this written the traditional way, so you can use either option that you like. So download your pattern, and we're going to start on making our red star block. And when you look at it, you're going to make 20 half square triangles that use the white and a red star. You're going to make 20 half square triangles that are white with a light red solid. And then you're going to use the 2 reds to make 20 half square triangles. So you're going to make 20, 20, and 20. That's going to give you a total of 60 half square triangles to make your star block. So like I said, you're going to make 20 each, and each square gives you 2. So you need 10 squares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this out, again, 1.5 inch finished, and I want 10. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cut as closely as you can on the line in the very center. Then you want to cut that in half. You're going to need 1 more. So again, count across 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to cut this in half. Set this aside for your blue, and then I'm going to show you how to put your fabrics together to use these to make 60 half square triangles. So we're going to start with step 1 using our fabric B, which is our white, and our fabric E, which is a red star. Now we wrote the pattern to make it the traditional way. If you're going to do triangles on a roll, you're going to cut rectangles that are approximately 5.5 by 13 inches. Put those right sides together. Then you're going to take one of the pieces that we just cut, put that on top, and I would put lots of pins. The flatter this stays, the better your triangles are going to come out. And you just want to make sure that you completely cover, that none of your fabric goes underneath the paper. And just try to pin where you're not pinning on the lines. If you just pin kind of in the sections you're not going to sew on. And then once you sew those lines, it's going to look like this. And we use red thread just to show you what it would look like, so you can see your actual stitch lines. We're not going to actually use this. And then what you want to do is you want to cut out all of your half square triangles. This one, the paper's just placed a little bit differently, which is totally fine. But what I like to do is take all of my pieces and cut the outside edge first. And like I said, this paper was just cut a little bit differently, but it's still 10 squares. Okay, so when you're looking at this paper, the way that you get this to work accurately is if you stitch directly on that line. You don't stitch to the left or the right, you stay right on that line, and then when you cut right on the line. So if you cut a little bit off like this, you're gonna have half square triangles over here that are too big and half square triangles over here that are too small. So then you're gonna cut on the solid lines. So you're gonna cut all the solid lines. I'm gonna show you on this one. To pull your paper off, what I like to do is bend it back, pull one side, and pull one side. Then from here, what you're gonna wanna do is press to one side, and then what you're gonna wanna do is, I like to press to one side first, and here I'm just using the quick press seam roller just to show you how you're gonna do that. And you're gonna make 20 of the fabric E and B, half square triangles. You're gonna make 20 of the fabric G and fabric B fabrics. Then you're gonna make 20 that have the fabric E and the fabric G. So a total of 60. So from here, you have all your half square triangles. You're gonna bring in a fabric C square, and then we're going to build this unit. So you'll start with your C in the top left. You will take your red star and go this direction, your solid this direction, and your solid and your star this direction. You'll sew with a 1/4 inch seam. Press all of this open because there's so many seams. If you don't press open, I think it's just you're gonna have a lot of bumps in your block. And you're gonna have this unit. You're gonna make a total of 4 of these. And this is what it looks like when you have your unit. Then what you can do is just take these, and if you put your solid on the outsides, your block is going to look like this. And you can see how nice our half square triangle makes those points. You're going to take this. Again, I would pin at each intersection, stitch with a 1/4 inch seam, press open, add your last one, and then here is your block. You're going to be making 5 of the red blocks. So now we're going to move to page 3, and you're going to be doing the same thing, except we made 5 red blocks. This time we're only going to be making 4 blue blocks. So you're going to be making fewer half square triangles. With your blue star and your white fabric, which are your fabric I and B's, you're going to make 16 of these. Then with your fabric B and your fabric K, which is your light blue and your white solid, you're going to make 16. And with your 2 blues combined, you're going to make 16. From there, you're going to do that same thing where you build your block, starting with your fabric C square, your star fabric, your solid fabric, and your double blue fabric. You're going to make 16 of those. When you make those, they're going to look just like this. You're going to do the same thing where you rotate this white to the outside. So as long as this white square is on the outside, right here, you're going to sew this together and you're going to make 4 of these blocks. And what I want to show you is a tip for when you get to putting the blue and the red blocks together. So when you go to page 4, you're going to be making your table runner center, and you're going to be making all of these stars with the reds on the outside, the blues on the inside. My tip for you is to first pin the outside together, your outsides, and then right here where your point is on your red, put your pin right in that point. Put your pin in this blue point right in the point. Make your pin stand straight up, remove it, and then pin that down. Do the same thing on this point. Now, when you are doing your half square triangles, you should be stitching with a really, really short stitch length. And if you do that, your fabric is not going to start coming apart here. If it does, that means next time to use a shorter stitch length. Here, you just want to make sure these line up and pin. So when you sew with a 1/4 inch seam, you're going to have really nice points and everything is going to line up because of the way you pinned. So now we're on page 4 and we're moving to strip sets, and that's awesome because we did all of our hard work up front and then this is just the easy road to finish. So you're going to take your red fabric D strips and your F fabric strip. You're going to stitch these with a 1/4 inch seam. Use as accurate as a 1/4 inch seam as you can, and you're going to get this strip set. You're going to make 2 of these. And when you look at it, this is how it looks on the back when we pressed open. From here, we want to subcut these into 7 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles. That's going to give us a total of 14 with both strip sets. So I'm going to show you how to use the Stripology Squared mini ruler to do this. So on your Stripology Squared ruler, you want to start with the one that has the whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, not the side with the small numbers, just your whole numbers. You're going to line up this line on your strip set to make sure that you are cutting perpendicular. You're going to put your rotary blade in your 0 and you're going to cut across. To get your blade in, you're going to go in at a slight angle and just go up. Don't move your ruler, keep your hand on there, and then go to the 2.5. Then you want to go to the 5. And that's going to give you 2 strips. And then you're going to keep going. So what I'll do is I'll put that 0 back on that line, cut the 2.5 and the 5. And right here, I had my ruler a little bit too low. So you just want to make sure you have it high enough up. So that's 4. And if you use the Stripology ruler that's bigger, you can do all of these cuts at one time. But I would recommend trying the smaller ruler before you invest in the big ruler. So you just kind of put it in at an angle. And then your beginning and your end pieces you're going to discard. And so you're going to have a total of 14 of these. You're going to do that same technique with your fabric F and your fabric A's, and you're going to have 14 of these. And you can see how nice and clean these lines are by using that Stripology squared ruler. Then we're going to take those and we're going to make a red gingham border. So basically you're going to stack up all of these, and then you're going to start putting these together. And what I would do is I would do that same technique where you pin on the outside, and then here just make sure it's lined up, pin right there. So you're going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and you're going to sew that, and what that's going to look like is right here, this red gingham border. I'm actually going to show it to you on the quilt so you can see how the fabrics are laid out. So when you're looking at it, this is how your fabric is going to lay out. You're going to have your dark, your light, and you're just going to keep going. And you're not going to use one of these, you're going to have one extra of this colorway. And that's going to give you this entire strip set. You're going to make one of those, and it should measure 6.5 by 54.5. So then you're going to make the other side of the table runner using the same fabrics, just different colors. So instead of red stars, you have blue stars. Instead of a red solid, you have a light blue solid. And you're going to make 14 of these units and 14 of these. You're going to pin, and you're going to go all the way down, and you're going to make another one that is the same size as the red. So then you're going to have your star row, your red checkerboard, and your blue checkerboard. You're just going to pin those together and sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and just try to not chop off these star points. You know, a couple of them, they're going to get chopped off, totally fine. Then what you're going to do is get this quilted. We used Ashley Star Echo Pantograph, and we did a nice tight dense quilting, and we did a star just to bring the theme together. And we used a white thread, and that really matches with the backing that we chose. So let us know what you think of the Stars and Gingham Table Runner. Remember, it's a completely free pattern at Fat Quarter Shop, and it'd be a great way to use up all of your red, white, and blue stash. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.